Long time no seen, broskis. Super welcome to this video. Guys, today I played two boomer shooters, one of which is fully released and the other one is a demo, but they both really surprised me in a very good way. Let me explain what I mean. Let's dive into them. Hellbound, my broskis, is very much a classic first-person shooter in the good old sense of the word. This thing was marketed hard as a return to the 90s, just with more modern graphics, and honestly, I gotta say, that's pretty much exactly what it is. It will set you back around 15 buckaroonies, and it is extremely short. We're talking roughly 2 hours, just above 2 hours, and that is honestly my biggest issue with this game. If it really wanted to fully commit to that old school 90s feel, this should have been a 3-episode kind of deal, but instead we only get 1 episode, and it just ends way too soon. Now, from what I understand, there is some kind of story behind the scenes here, where the game sort of got left behind in a way. The developer is still, however, active and still making games, so I actually don't know exactly what happened there, but whatever the case, Hellbound feels unfinished in the sense that it should have been more. And not because what's here is bad, because what is here is actually really good. Good enough to make you want a lot more from it. And with that said, I do recommend Hellbound. I just recommend it on a sale. I would not tell you to rush out and grab it at full price, but still, why do I recommend it? Let me explain. Well, first off, the gameplay absolutely nails that Doom-like feel, and I mean that. I genuinely don't think I've played many modern shooters that feels this close to classic Doom while still having their own modern visual edge. It really captures that run and gun rhythm in a way that feels right. The movement, the shooting, the enemy pressure, it all comes together in a very satisfying way. I also really dig the weaponry quite a bit here. The guns, they feel good to use, and I like that they all come with alternate fire modes. That alone adds a little extra spice to the combat and keep things from feeling too one-noted. And then we got the power-ups, the secrets, and even a few secrets that go a bit harder than expected. As for the enemies, they do the job. They're maybe not the most mind-blowing bunch that you have ever seen, but they work well within the kind of a game Hellbound is trying to be. You got your melee threats, your shotgun dudes, your standard soldier types, demons tossing fireballs, and all that good stuff. It's a familiar lineup, but it fits. It works. I just wish that there was more of it. Now, this game actually came out all the way back in 2020, and somehow I never got around to properly playing it. I did dibble-dabble in the demo back in the day, or at least I think there was a demo, I might be remembering wrong. Maybe there even still is a demo hidden somewhere out there. I'm honestly not sure. But I never sat down with a full game until now. So there I was on a Saturday evening just thinking, you know what? Maybe I should finally give this thing a spin. And to my surprise, I ended up having a ton of fun with it. Like, genuinely, more fun than I expected to have, and I had quite high expectations for this one. But again, to emphasize, I did want more environments, more enemies, more weapons, I wanted more levels, more of everything really. Because Hellbound doesn't feel like a complete meal. It feels like a very tasty slice of what could have been a much bigger and much more memorable throwback shooter. Still, it knows exactly what kind of a shooter it wants to be, and for those 2 hours it delivers that old school blast and action really well. So yeah, I do recommend it, just maybe not at full price. Catch it on a sale, jump in, rip through, and you will probably have a damn good time. So next up, my broskis, is Xeno Dead, and this one was, to my utter surprise, absolutely great. This game has movement that almost feels a little bit ultra killish, but the overall structure is more of a single-player campaign boomer shooter, closer to something like Brutal John. So it's got that fast, snappy movement, but it's not just pure score-chasing madness. It actually feels like a proper campaign shooter with some really smart ideas behind it. The setup here is that aliens have invaded Earth, every country has fallen, and humanity basically throws in its last and strongest weapon, which is us, the assassin. And from the very start you can feel how tight this game is. It feels polished immediately. Everything from the movement to the combat to the little gameplay system just feels properly thought out. And one of the coolest ideas in the game is the watch, which gives you special abilities. The one that stood out to me the most is the bubble that slows down time. Also the only ability that I got to play with in the demo, so now the whole bubble thing that slows down time already sounds quite useful, right? But the neat part is that if you kill an enemy inside that bubble, they drop armor. Normally, however, every enemy drops health when you kill them, which at first might make it sound like the game would be way too easy, but it really isn't. And that's kind of where the polish shows itself. Because on paper, if every enemy drops health, you can also manipulate drops into armor, you think that this thing would be a complete cakewalk. But the balancing is actually really solid. So you do get resources back, sure, but the game still manages to keep the pressure on and make fights feel engaging. So instead of making things trivial, it just adds another layer to how you approach combat. Maybe you're doing fine on health and would rather stock up on armor instead. Then boom, pop the time bubble and start planning around that. It's simple, but it adds so much to the gameplay. Now, in the demo itself, we get 3 different levels to play through. The first one takes place in these cave-like environments. The second one moves things outside into more of a city block kind of area where we have to cleanse the air because everything is infested. And then the third level is actually a boss fight. So even just from the demo alone, you can tell that there is a ton of variety here. It's not just the same environments recycled 3 times and called it a day. There's also a hub world, which I always appreciate when it's done well. And here, it actually seems to serve a purpose. In the hub, you can check the leaderboards, choose which mission you want to go on, and upgrade your weapons and abilities by using secrets that you find hidden inside of the levels. And that right there is another thing that I really like about it. Secrets, they actually matter. Now, weapon-wise, in the demo, we get access to the shotgun and the assault rifle. And both of them, they feel pretty good to use and can be upgraded. Like the shotgun, to fire faster, hit harder, or have more kickback. And the same kind of progression applies to the assault rifle as well, of course. And then there is another mechanic that is just straight up awesome. We can parry projectiles. Now, usually that kind of throws me off because I'm really bad at parrying, but the projectile speed is just perfect, so you got time enough to react. And when you do parry a projectile, it gets sent back to wherever you are aiming. And once it hits something, it explodes and deals double the damage it originally would have done. And yeah, it is as satisfying as it sounds. It feels great to pull that parry off, and thankfully it's not one of those mechanics that sounds cool on paper, but is so strict and awkward that you're never actually using it. Here it feels practical, it feels usable, and once you start getting the hang of it, it becomes a really fun part of the combat. And that is actually kind of the best way that I can sum up Xeno Dead as a whole. It's one of those games that looks promising at first glance, but then once you actually sit down and play it, it turns out to be even better than it looks. It's polished, it's fast, it's got some really smart systems in place, and I actually feel like the developers know exactly what they're doing with this one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. It means a lot to me that you stayed all the way here in the video. That's actually pretty much the biggest thing that matters on YouTube, is you actually watch the video. So thank you. And if you liked what you saw, remember to hit that like, and if you want more stuff just like this, remember to hit that subscribe as well. And remember, I think you're bloody awesome. Over and out.